Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Post. I'm glad you joined us today. Today is Easter Sunday. It is the holiday celebrated by Christians around the world where we remember when Jesus, who had been crucified on Good Friday, rose from the dead on Sunday. And we all have assurance of eternal salvation when we believe in him because of that resurrection. A lot of people think that Easter has to do with bunny rabbits and as cute as they are, or looking for eggs or coloring eggs. And while that's a lot of fun, that really has nothing at all to do with the religious holiday. And so for my kids in my Sunday school class at church, I thought I would read a story that has to do more with the religious aspect of the holiday. And the story I've chosen to read today is called The Tale of Three Trees. This is a fun little folk tale that talks about three trees and how they had aspirations for growing up. So let's go ahead and begin. The Three Trees, a traditional folk tale. And this version was told by Angela Hunt. Okay, The Three Trees. Once upon a mountaintop, three trees dreamed of what they wanted to become when they grew up. Just like you and me. I want to hold treasure, the first tree said. I will be the most beautiful treasure chest in the whole world. I want to be a strong sailing ship, the second tree said. I will be the strongest ship in the world. I don't want to leave this mountaintop at all, the third tree said. I want to grow so tall that when people look at me, they will raise their eyes to heaven and think of God. I will be the tallest tree in the whole world. One day, three woodcutters climbed the mountain. With a swoop of the first man's axe, the first tree fell. With a swish of a second man's axe, the second tree fell. And with a slash of the third man's axe, the third tree fell. Oh, that was sad. The first tree rejoiced when the woodcutter brought him to a carpenter shop, but the busy carpenter was not thinking about treasure chests. Instead, his work-worn hands fashioned the tree into a feed box for animals. Hay and oats and slop for the animals. The second tree smiled when the woodcutter took him to a shipyard. But no mighty sailing ships were being built that day. Instead, the once strong tree was made into a simple fishing boat. The third tree was confused when the woodcutter cut her into strong beams and left her in a lumber yard. What happened? The once tall tree wondered. All I ever wanted to do was point to God. Many, many, many days and nights passed. The three trees nearly forgot their dreams. But one night, golden starlight poured over the first tree as a young woman placed her newborn baby in the feed box. And suddenly, the first tree knew he was holding the greatest treasure in all the world. One evening, a tired traveler and his friends crowded into the old fishing boat. When a storm arose, the second tree shuddered, but the traveler stretched out his hand and said, "Peace!" And the storm stopped. And suddenly, the second tree knew he was carrying the King of heaven and of earth. One Friday morning, the third tree was startled when her beams were yanked from the woodpile. She shivered when she was dragged through the angry crowd. She shuddered when soldiers nailed a man's hands to her, and she felt ugly and harsh and cruel. But on Sunday morning, when the sun rose and the earth trembled with joy beneath her, the third tree knew God's love had changed everything. It had made the first tree beautiful. It had made the second tree strong. And every time people thought of the third tree, they would think of God. That was better than being the tallest tree in the whole world. That was a great folk tale. And that's a fun story about these trees. And we know that when we look to the cross, that we see Jesus. And we see that he took our sin upon himself. He who knew no sin became sin for us, so that we wouldn't have to suffer and die, and that we'll spend eternal life with him in glory. So I hope you had a beautiful Resurrection Sunday, and that you enjoyed this time with your family at home, as we look forward to coming together at church again one day soon and spending time with one another in fellowship. And in the meantime, we'll thank God and rejoice that he loved us so much to send Jesus to die for us. And through his death and resurrection, we'll live again. Happy Easter, everyone. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.